When I look at a lot of the new reports and rumors about Marvel's Phase 4 and 5, I can't help but see many different ways that the mutants could be introduced. And I think they're going to be introduced way, way sooner than Kevin Feige originally teased. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Marvel Monday to you if you're watching this on Monday. And if not, no big deal, but you should know we drop dope Marvel videos every single Monday. Also, before we get into all this craziness about the mutants, I do want to suggest you go over to the Den of Nerds Live and check out the morning stream that we did today, talking all about Eternals and how Namor might be introduced in the Eternals movie. It was a really cool talk, digging into a lot of the Eternal stuff. So if you're interested in that, go check out that live stream. But okay, let's get into some of this stuff, guys. Yes, indeed, there are a lot of rumors, leaks, and possibilities regarding the mutants in the MCU. Obviously, Kevin Feige wants to have the mutants in the Marvel Cinematic Universe sooner rather than later. And if you look at a lot of the little things going on in Phase 4, we can see the mutants sprinkled all throughout. First, let's talk about the Eternals. And again, yeah, we did go deep on this in the live stream, but suffice it to say, there is an avenue to connect the Eternals to the mutants. You see, in almost every version of the Marvel Universe in the comics, the X gene, which is of course the gene that allows the mutation that gives mutants their powers, is actually traced back to the Celestials and the creation of the Deviants and the Eternals. The Celestials are those big, crazy, alien-looking things we see in Guardians of the Galaxy. They originally come to Earth way, way long ago and perform experiments on early humankind. The first two things created from those experiments were the Deviants and the Eternals, but the X gene, or likely the capacity for the X gene, traces back to these same experiments. That's right, the Celestials are responsible for the creation of the X gene, even though the X gene doesn't actually manifest for many, many generations after those initial experiments. Now, many fans had speculated that the idea of the Infinity Stones, perhaps the Snap or the Blip, would actually be responsible for the creation of the X genes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And while that is still possible, it's also possible, and maybe even more likely, that the X gene will go back to the Eternals, that the Eternals messing with the genetic material of early humans will eventually lead to the X gene, and perhaps Kevin Feige will just do something in which the Blip or the Snap or something to do with the stones just accelerates the mutation. Now let's go into a couple other things that are happening in Phase 4 that really make me think we're getting mutants really soon. The next little crazy piece of evidence all has to do with the island of Madripoor being in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, Madripoor is an island that exists in Marvel Comics, and it is home to a lot of mutants. Logan, or Wolverine, is often found on this island. At one time, it is actually totally controlled by Viper or Madam Hydra, depending on, how you do that in the comics. The Princess Bar is a bar where Wolverine hangs out a lot. There's just a ton of mutant ties to Madripoor, so much so that when it was actually revealed to be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, every single Marvel insider and big-time Marvel Comics nerd scratched their head and said, wow, so they're really going to do mutants that soon? And while we don't know for sure that they're going to be putting mutants into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I say, why not? And I really don't think you go to Madripoor without some kind of mention of enhanced or mutant beings. The next obvious place where mutants might show up in Phase 4 is the Wanda Vision show. Wanda Vision has the feel of House of M. And of course, in the comic books, Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, is a mutant, and a very powerful mutant at that. And given the fact that Kevin Feige has recently stated that yes, indeed, Scarlet Witch is the most powerful person in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the fact that a lot of the beats we think will be happening in WandaVision are from the House of M comic book, I think it's perfectly reasonable that they will reveal Wanda to be a mutant in the show. And this could, of course, tie into what I was just talking to you guys about with the Infinity Stones. It's possible that the Infinity Stone did not give the powers that Wanda has to her, but rather accelerated the mutation that was actually giving her her powers. This could be a thing where the Infinity Stones accelerate the mutation of the X genes that are already in these different characters, and Wanda doing all of these crazy things and literally threatening the very fabric of space and time could all be because she is that powerful of a mutant. And then when it comes to Namor, even if he's not introduced in the Eternals movie, which there's some rumors suggesting that that will actually happen, then I think he could clearly be in Black Panther 2. There's been so much talk about Namor coming into the MCU, and Namor is actually the first mutant ever to appear in Marvel Comics. And remember, at San Diego Comic-Con, when Kevin Feige was doing his little send-off speech talking about all the different things he didn't have time to talk about during his actual presentation, he mentioned mutants, not the X-Men. Now, he tried to sort of walk back on that later when pressed about it, but he is very interested in mutants. Look back at that new scene that was revealed from the vault of Marvel Studios where Nick Fury, in a post-credit scene for the first Iron Man movie, mentions mutants. This is obviously something that's always been on Feige's mind, and I think the smart money is on him sprinkling the idea of mutants throughout a lot of the stuff that comes out in Phase 4. So let me be clear. I don't think we're getting X-Men anytime soon. I don't think we're getting some of the more predominant and popular X characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I do think the idea of mutants is coming way sooner than we originally thought. Now there's no way that Fox would be able to stop them from using the word, and I think it's going to be sprinkled throughout, man. I think it's showing up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think it's showing up in Wanda Vision. I think it's showing up in the Eternals, and on from here. I think mutants are right around the corner in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And besides all of that, I think it just makes it easier to get to the X-Men, to get to Alpha Flight, to get to X-Force, or some of these other things if they establish mutants ASAP in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it just makes sense to me. I think that's the path. But that's all the news, rumors, leaks, and reports out there talking about mutants in the MCU in Phase 4. Talked about all the different places where I think the mutants can be introduced in the MCU. But I want to know what you think. Do you agree that Marvel and Kevin Feige are going to start using the mutants real quick? Or do you think that it's going to take time, that they're going to really slowly get to the mutants, like later on, maybe in Phase 5? Whatever you're thinking about this, let me know in the comment section below. Now let's shout out Marvelous Legend. Yes, indeed, it was the Bucky Captain America that used a gun when they were Captain America. So shout out to you, Marvelous Legend. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know what member of the Fantastic Four family is actually a mutant. That's right, somebody related to Sue Storm and Reed Richards is actually a mutant, and a damn powerful one at that. I want to know, what Marvel character am I talking about? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.